When it comes to learning new vocabulary, one of the most effective ways to boost understanding and retention is to group similar terms together into what I like to call vocabulary collections. By doing so, learners can better identify patterns, connections, and relationships between words, which in turn helps them to remember and use them more effectively in context. Join me as I take on the challenge of mastering a whole bunch of group terms or collections. Welcome back to my channel. This is your online English tutor at Banki's Corner, where we have educational information and tips in language learning. When it comes to learning new vocabulary, one of the most effective ways to boost understanding and retention is to group similar terms together into what I like to call vocabulary collections. By doing so, learners can better identify patterns, connections, and relationships between words, in which in turn helps to remember and use them more effectively in context. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. This is your online English tutor, where educational tips on language learning in English language are discussed. Most language learning materials are designed to present individual words in isolation, without providing much context or connection to other related terms. This can lead to a shallow understanding of vocabulary by making it difficult for learners to recall and apply the words in meaningful ways. Rather than simply presenting individual words, educators can use techniques like categorization, analogy, and storytelling so as to help learners group related terms together. Let's look at the examples of group terms or collections categorized into animate, inanimate, people, and less common examples. Remember, we're on a journey in mastering vocabulary collections, group terms, or group terms. For the animate, how do we make use of group terms? How do we group our words together to give a meaningful context? I have several examples here which we'll be looking at now. Under animates, of course, we have an army of ants. We say an army of soldiers, a band of musicians, a bench of bishops, a bench of magistrates, a choir of singers, a gang of thieves, a herd of buffaloes, a host of angels, a nest of rabbits, a pack of wolves, a pride of lions, a school of whales, a swarm of insects, a team of horses, a troop of monkeys. These are some of the examples we have on animate group terms or collections. Of course, you know what I mean by animates. It means living things. Let's move on to the next category, which is inanimate. How do we call their group terms or collections? How do we add the words together to give a meaningful context? The first example here is a bale of cotton wool. A bale of cotton or wool. A bunch of grapes. A bouquet of flowers. A cluster of diamonds or stars. A collection of pictures. A fleet of cars or ships, a flight of aeroplanes, a forest of trees, a library of books, a pack of cards, a rope of pearls, a sheaf of corn, a suit of clothes. For people, for their group terms or collections, at a concert, what do we call the group of people at a concert? We call them audience. People gathering in the church, we call them congregation. People in the streets gathering, we call it a crowd or a throng. People in a riot, we call it mob. In a rowdy scene, we call it rabble. At a sporting event, we call it crowd or fans. Let's move to the less common examples. We call them less common examples because people hardly make use of them or never known as group terms or collections. Let's look at examples. We have a bevy of quails, a cast of hawks, a field of runners, a flight of doves, a herd of antelopes, a muster of peacocks, a smock of jellyfish, a string of horses, a tribe of goats, a watch of nightingales, a galaxy of stars, a group of islands. To sum it up, we have looked at how group terms or collections are used in order to make meaningful context. So learning vocabulary in the past might have been a struggle for you, but using this strategy in learning new vocabulary, if you have struggled with learning new vocabulary in the past, I would love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to check in my videos for more educational tips in language learning. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.